pretty decent state, you know. You should come check it out. Anyway, the point of this stream is to point out war continues on, and as war continues on, who benefits, you know? Again, this is not against people in the military. It's more pointing out if you're in a system that profits off of endless constant wars, and the tax that you pay, you know, funds these endless constant wars. Maybe, just maybe, you want to make change. Maybe, just maybe, we should have a look at how we can bring about global peace, you know, world peace. At this point in time, talking about world peace and the potential for a new continuation of a global conflict is growing ever closer, and so too, I believe, are central bank digital currencies. That is why, if you have a look at things like the, you know, just the general talk of central bank digital currencies, some places are explaining that, you know, they're basically going to come, there's nothing you can do about it. If you could go back in time and stop people from using credit cards, would you? If you could go back in time and stop people from using the internet, would you? That could be an argument. But I can't help but point out that if we all allow for central bank digital currencies to be rolled out and to influence how we act, think of the communist Chinese regime here and their sesame credit and their ability to, you know, bar people from traveling, earning and learning. That is not something I wish to see here on Australian soil. Now, moving on. If you're into the cryptocurrency space, if you're following it somewhat closely like I am, a little bit, compared to others, not as much, but one particular founder came out and said, tomorrow is the end of the comment period for S70423, safeguarding advisory client assets. Again, this is US based. If you didn't bother to submit an anonymous relevant comment after being given all the tools and education, then you better have been real busy doing something important. Good news up next. IRS and FinCEN, perhaps EU and Australian comments. The governments of the world aren't going to stop trying to crush your rights, and, you know, they're going to stop endless wars. You might want to get good at fighting for them. You know, maybe you want to learn how to push back peacefully, politically, legally, and lawfully where you can. Wouldn't it be funny if the interview started with, which of the following bankrupt companies did you promote, lol, and which anti-crypto rules did you fail to comment on, lol? Do you promote margin trading, lol? A good way to tell who's a hero and who's a grifter. Now, side note, people beat the word scammer to death so hard, it's now vogue to use the term grifter, or maybe it just makes them feel smarter. There sure does seem to be a lot of people in crypto that think they're smart, but all they do is get their followers wrecked. I spoke about that earlier. There'd be less of that if respect was given where it was due, you know, and if things weren't censored, and if you analyze why they were censored and how they were censored, ask questions, you know. Did that seem normal to you, to anyone watching this stream? Anyway, onward and upward, fine folks. Enough whinging, back to studies. I cannot agree more. Now, if you type in, for instance, SRC IRS crypto news, you have a look at where the wind is blowing. Kraken ordered to turn over its users' information to the IRS. Crap. That is crap, but Coinbase challenges SEC broad definition of securities in new court filing, which is, you know, where the wind's kind of blowing. New tax rules for crypto in the US, law decoded. It goes on. Binance US deal gives SEC visibility of every transaction over $1,000. Will IRS see these too? Remember not that long ago, I'm not sure if it's been rolled back, but there was the, you know, 87,000 IRS agents being trained. Isn't that good to know? Your own tax dollars hard at work against you for doing nothing wrong. Unless, of course, they changed the laws because you didn't bother to submit or push back or point out that you're correct. Because you're within crypto, it's most likely that you have a decent understanding of what crypto is versus someone who has no idea. He wants to tell you how it should be treated, taxed, regulated, and created, aka CBDCs. I don't know. Now, here in Australia, we do have some developing legislation that we can comment on. However, it's quite difficult for myself to actually locate these. I'm not sure why. There was one previously, there were several previously, and I was shocked at the numbers of people that actually could be bothered replying. Although it was, in a sense, a small victory because over time, the amounts of people responding have grown and grown and grown. There was some feedback by which the people were setting up these commenting proposals or commenting meetings, I'm not sure what you would call it, setting up the the whole process of taking comments. They were providing feedback saying they were actually surprised at the level of people that did not push back, but get their point across. Now, I strongly believe it was due to a large portion of the hexagons, simply put. Prior to that, I saw back in 2017-18 ways to treat tax, and there was something like 47 people that even bothered to reply out of all of Australia. That's not gonna awaken the population to how things should be. Anyway, I did find this here. However, this is somewhat more positive. However, again, this could be not a paid for shield, but it could be not a hit piece, a piece of information that's framed in such a way that makes it seem positive when actually it is not. Now, you could call that a narrative, you could call that deception, you could call that tricking someone, I don't know. But basically it goes over here. Australia proposes a stricter licensing framework for crypto exchanges, and it does explain this licensing regime. Again, this is the draft that they are talking about. Now, I risk clicking this live on stream. Could be a dick pic. Here we go. Regulating digital assets platforms. This was released on the same day. There was some meetings and some interesting stuff going on within the cryptocurrency space here in Australia. It does allow you to provide feedback and comments. I'll put a link in the description below. However, I need to look at it more closely myself. This article goes on to explain financial services could only be issued by 2025. However, from my understanding, there is some exchanges here already that are trying to sort of adhere to this. There's also Blockchain Australia and other various associations, sort of trying to do the right thing, because I honestly think they understand the crypto space better than people from outside telling us how things should be, simply put. It's probably the best way to word it for now. And it goes on to say, which I thought was good, the Australian model, which if true, I hope is the model that the world adopts. Australia aims to regulate crypto exchanges and aims not to regulate tokens. However, there could be a clause in that. It's by the way, where does DeFi stand? And by the way, that makes the centralized licensed exchanges the gatekeepers of all of crypto. For instance, I think of Monero as an example. What if they don't like Monero for whatever reason? However, they said here they will not, regulate tokens, but US applied sanctions to Toyota Cash, and I'm not sure if it has a token or if that's just a smart contract. But where does that sit? Some gray areas that we really need to flesh out in this space. Now, that is about it. I was glad I was able to find this paper. I've been looking for this all morning. Now, again, maybe the tools in place won't be as comprehensive as what there was as the founder of Hex pointed out. I guess the founder of PulseChain and PulseX as well. There was a lot of tools at your disposal to be able to write comments for those particular processes. Alright, so that is about it, and currently Hex is up 6.1, EHEX that is. Pulse, there it is, PHEX is up 2.9%, if you can see the background. Alright, that is about it, and I think there's a lot going on. There's a lot, and if we don't try and push back where we can, we are going to lose, and we're going to have a central bank digital currency that allows us $70 withdrawals every day, even if you're a billionaire, and you have a central bank digital currency which will be connected to your phone, which will geospatially track you wherever you go and ensure that your career is selected for you, and you can only do certain things at certain times and go shopping, and you have to eat the bugs, and you'll own nothing Free speech signing out.